to all our guests. On behalf of ISTD Delhi chapter, I extend a very warm welcome to you all. So today we have with us a very distinguished speaker, Dr. C.V. Ramanan, Director of Institute of Marketing and Management, Delhi. Dr. Ramanan is an inspirational speaker, life coach, and a spiritual sadhak. He will be speaking on the topic Total Quality Person. He calls it TQP, Happiness and Well-Being. Dr. Ramanan has discovered many dimensions of spirituality while contributing to the management field. He will be highlighting the importance of holistic success and happiness, including work-life balance and the finer values of life. According to him, a total quality person is a person with character, integrity, good values, positive attitude, with a desire to serve humanity, serve people. How can the contemporary challenges be converted into opportunities for sustained development and growth, joy and prosperity? These are some of the thoughts he'll be dwelling on. And I welcome you, Dr. Ramanan, to this evening talk. A very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
And now I call upon Mr. Mukesh Jain, our chapter chairperson, to give his welcome address. Mr. Jain.
Thank you, Pratima ji. A very good evening and namaskar, friends. On behalf of Management Committee of ISTD Delhi chapter, I take the pleasure in welcoming our esteemed speaker, Professor C.V. Ramanan, Director, IMM Business School, spiritual sadhak, inspirational speaker and life coach, and so on. Dr. Ramanan will speak on a very relevant topic, total quality person, happiness and well-being. I also welcome our veterans, President Emeritus, past presidents, chapter chairpersons, NC members, all my seniors and colleagues, invitees, ISTD diploma student and students of other institutes and friends. Wishing you all a great session. Please stay happy, healthy and safe. Thank you and namaskar. Over to Pratima ji.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jain. Now I request our General Secretary, Mr. Ajay Sahu, to introduce our esteemed speaker. Mr. Sahu.
Okay. Thank you, Pratima ji. It's my pleasure and proud privilege to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. C.V. Ramanan. Today only I came to know that both Dr. Ramanan and Pratima ji started their career way back in the mid-80s in Methodex. So that's something new to me. Dr. Ramanan, he is an engineer from Delhi College of Engineering, and he has done his MBA from University Business School, Chandigarh, and he holds a doctorate in a very interesting topic, which is Vivek management and life skills through Indian ethos. And he has under his belt 37 years of both experience in both corporate as well as academia. He's currently the director of IMM, and previously he was also a director for about 10 years in another management institute. He was a director and professor. And Dr. Ramanan is a very versatile personality. He is an author. He's a serial author of 6 fabulously written books. And he is also a speaker, and he has conducted over 800 workshops all across India. And the topic on which he is going to speak today, TQP, Total Quality Person, is it's a flagship program for him, designed by him. And way back in 2018, he was invited by IFTDO to make a presentation on this topic in Dubai. And let me just quote him. what TQP means. To quote Dr. Ramanan, TQP is a spiritual odyssey based on our scriptures and ancient wisdom. It's a powerful value-based philosophy and a wonderful pilgrimage of continuous learning and improvement for holistic happiness and success. So I would not like to stand between you and Dr. Ramanan much longer. So over to Pritimaji. Thank you.
It's all yours, Dr. Ramanan, now.
Okay.
Thank you so much, all of you, for the very kind introduction and welcome. Dear Chairman, Shri Mukesh Kumar Jain, Vice Chairman, Shri D.V. Shastri, Secretary, Shri Ajay Sahu, Treasurer, Shri Arpit Suri, Pritimaji, Kaushal Sahab, Dr. Rao, Dabas Sahab, so many people whom I know, all the distinguished participants and dear friends. I'm saying dear friends because many of you are known to me very well. As Pratima said, pointed out a few minutes ago, I have ISTD for a long time. In fact, more than 6 years as the director of NATAD, National Academy for Training and Development. So various ways of interactions. I've conducted 2 days workshop practically every year, 2-day TQP workshops in ISTD for participants all over the country, and also such talks by Delhi chapter. Colonel Dimri has invited me, Dr. Sudhir Kumar Jain, Professor Benwit, and now the current team. So it's always been a pleasure and privilege to be associated with ISTD, and I must acknowledge that Pratimaji and Kaushal Sahab have also always come on my request and taught modules for NATAD, National Academy for Training and Development, at the high ISTD headquarters whenever I requested them. You know, I'll start sharing the screen. I'll just a minute, please. Is the screen visible?
It is visible.
And am I audible, please?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So that's my brief introduction, which has already been given. Actually, time flies. It's now 39 years, and soon I'll be beginning my 40th year of experience. I started Methodex on the 1st of June, 1982. And when I came back for my second innings, that's when I met Pratimaji. So 20 years in the corporate world and 20 years in academics. And I've had some very interesting designations also in the recent past, like Chief Mentor and Happiness Officer in Prudentia Group and Director Center for Joy at Work at Inmantec Institutions, all as a result of the total quality person. So 20 years ago, when I entered academics, I wrote 6 little books. I call them pocket books because you can keep them in your pockets. These were the books: Sounds of Inspiration, Calls of Enrichment, Traits for Success, Eternal Truths, Milestones of Excellence, and Treasures of Wisdom. Each of these books contains 101 small, simple thoughts that we can apply in our lives. So that's when I coined a concept and called it Total Quality Person, TQP. We begin this workshop by talking about the contemporary challenges which all of us are facing, apart from COVID, of course, which is raging through the world, probably for the 3rd or 4th time, definitely the second innings. Challenges which have been there with us for the last several decades, and currently also. Globalization, competition, very smart people around us, information explosion, work-life balance, stress. Here we need to understand whether stress and pressure are the same or are they different. Pressure natural hai. Kya stress bhi natural hai? Kya tension natural hai? As I said, work-life balance. Are we leading a balanced life? And does work-life balance include only work and our personal life, or are there other ingredients too? Diversity, especially in our country, and of course happiness, or more precisely the lack of it. Just like the system is programmed for software, we are all programmed to be happy. We are meant to be. That's our privilege. That's our right. But are we? We seem to be groping, looking, hunting for this elusive quality called happiness all the time and hardly ever able to experience it. So, delivering quality products and services, having quality interactions and relationships, and being quality people is not only the best way, but perhaps the only way to not only meet these challenges, but to hopefully convert them into opportunities. So, the fulcrum, the foundation is total quality person. That is, people with character, integrity, good values, positive attitude, and a desire to serve, seva. Incidentally, seva, S-E-W-A, can be expanded interestingly as serve with empathy, warmth, and appreciation. Just like team can be expanded as together everybody achieves more, this can be served with empathy, warmth, and appreciation. Hold on. So, some of the questions we'll be asking ourselves, or we should be asking ourselves, is it possible for us to be more effective and efficient? That is, can we do the right things in the right way? That is, can we do more of the right things faster and easier? Second, can we get a better handle, a better grip on our lives to make choices that make our lives a more rewarding experience? Look, life seems to be slipping by and we are just watching it as hapless, helpless bystanders. So can we get a better control on our lives? The suggestions given today will be very simple, but hopefully will be very powerful and effective. The great hero of my time, Rajesh Khanna Sahab, he gave us several classics, those soul-stirring, idealistic, inspirational movies, what I call as TQP movies. One of which was Rishikesh Mukherjee's classic, Bawarchi, where he plays a professor turned cook. He comes up with several gems in the movie, both in English and in Hindi. And one of the things he says, it is so simple to be happy, but so difficult to be simple. I don't know why people make things so complicated. ना दूसरा कोई समझता है कि क्या कहते हैं, कई बार तो खुद भी नहीं समझते कि क्या कहते हैं. So today we'll keep it very, very simple, very direct, heart to heart, soul to soul. Each one of us can create, build, and sustain. I repeat, each one of us can create, build, and sustain a quality environment, not only at work, but equally importantly at home. I want to ask you or pose a question here. Maybe you can kindly think about it, let it mull over in your minds. Why are we rude and crude to people we love and at our politest best with people we hardly know? So it's important for us to create this quality environment, not only at work, which I'm sure many of us are doing, but equally importantly at home, which I hope and pray all of us are able to do. Normally, the training programs and workshops are very interactive. They are 2 days or more. We play games, we do cases and exercises and assignments. Interesting games, about 10, 12 of them with take homes. The highlight of what I usually share in my workshops, TQP workshops, are 40 odd, very moving, very powerful stories. Some of these stories will make you laugh, some can make you cry, but every story will have a lesson of life. Today, because of the extreme shortage of time, we are just sharing a capsule. We'll still share about half a dozen to 10 stories. A few things we may discuss may involve inside-out changes, a shake-up from the roots, a major paradigm shift. But I'm just trying to be a catalyst by sharing a philosophy. I don't have a VIX Formula 44 solution or a quick fix, which I'll be handing over. Neither do you require it. You're all very accomplished, very experienced women and men. And the power of goodness, the power of change is in each one of us. So whatever we share today, kindly put it through your filter. Whatever makes sense to you, kindly take it. Whatever does not, we can leave it. Any questions you have, you can probably keep it with you. We'll probably take it up after we finish the presentation so that the flow is maintained. You're still able to see the slide, right? Any problems, please let me know.
No problem.
So TQP, the value-based powerful philosophy, And to me, it's so noble and lofty that I call it a pilgrimage, a tirthayatra of continuous learning and improvement for holistic happiness and success. It's a spiritual odyssey, journey based on our scriptures, ancient wisdom, Indian ethos. So as they say in aircrafts, please fasten your seatbelts and let's embark on this very beautiful journey together for the next hour and 15 minutes or so. So these are some of the things which are shared in the workshops. Today, of course, we don't have time, so we'll just take a capsule. Integrated personality development, enrichment, self-awareness and development, inspiration, leadership, effective communication, building winning relationships, life and time management, being proactive, emotional and spiritual intelligence, lessons from Indian ethos, scriptures and wisdom, commandments of a total quality person, addressing stress, work-life balance, happiness and success, quality life and living. And we do these through games and exercises to reinforce values and stories, poems and thoughts to touch souls. So these are the four needs, human needs. When we talk about the mental need, that is to learn, if I say that life has to be a journey of continuous learning and improvement, I'm sure people like you, accomplished and experienced and successful people will agree. The more we know, the more we realize we don't know. And whatever little we know is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more to know. So the top value for us to be automatically on the journey of learning and improvement, vinamrata, humility. Nobody is too old to learn and too young to learn from. We can learn from anybody and everybody, anything and everything, provided we are humble. Two things will work only when they are open. One is the mind, the other is the parachute. Neither of them will work when it is closed. When we talk about the dimensions of our personality, we have physical, we have mental, we have emotional. There is this very powerful Sanskrit word, vivek, which is wisdom. The earlier management institute which I headed, where Rao Saab has also come and delivered an address, that was a value-based one. So our punchline was Vivek management, managing through wisdom. Now, if you're talking about Vivek management, where can there be any Vivek without compassion and caring for people? Jo Shakti Karuna mein hai, wo Krodh mein kahan? Anger is a sign of weakness. Compassion, Karuna is a sign of strength. It's always good for all of us to have compassion because we never know when we are going to need it from others. And frankly, this is the only dimension of our personality. The others have been given for proper explanation. We are not human beings on a spiritual journey. We are spiritual beings on a human journey. This is a small model which explains things in a very clear way. Pure mind, noble thought, selfless action, good result, invariably we experience khushi, shanti, anand. Impure mind, I can't take any guarantees. There could be some temporary halchal or excitement, but invariably very doubtful result and sorrow. And so many scams that are being exposed, especially with the advent of information technology, which is really helping the cops to bust crimes. They should give their testament to that, that Kal, time, Vakt will catch up with us. So why do it at all? Talking about mind, an interesting study. Hold your breath. Each one of us is successfully churning out 60,000, 60,000 thoughts every day. So where is there any scope for shanti and khushi in this chaos? We are blaming the government for traffic jams in Delhi and NCR. What about the traffic jam here? So unless there is awareness, unless we are able to be aware of our thoughts, unless we have sakshi bhava, act as a witness to our thoughts, there is no scope for us for happiness and peace. This is a very powerful model which I have designed for enriching productivity. It's equally applicable in any organization as it is applicable, I dare say, in our personal lives. I'm requesting all of you to kindly invest 3 qualities in people: trust, empathy, and respect. I repeat, trust, empathy, and respect. That will result in motivated colleagues who are happy and balanced, and therefore inspired and productive. I want to ask you a question here. क्या एक खोखला इंसान जिसके पास जब बिल्कुल खाली है अंदर वो कुछ दे सकता है? ना कर्म क्षेत्र में कुछ, ना रिश्तों में कुछ, लेकिन अगर हम भरपूर हैं, किस चीज से भरपूर? खुशी, शांति, संतुलन, balance, then our workstations in our work state will be, we have enhanced productivity in the corporate world or government, wherever we are working, and we'll have enriching relationships. We'll be able to give in our relationships. Today, relationships are cracking everywhere because everybody wants to take something and nobody has anything to give. So instead of give and take, let's start believing in give and give. A spiritual approach to life helps us in this philosophy because spirituality means abundance inside, and that will indeed result in abundance outside. So spirituality and material abundance are two sides of the same coin. One giving rise to the other, not at the cost of the other. So happy and balanced, because you've invested these three qualities in them, in your colleagues, they are happy, they are balanced, and therefore they are inspired and productive. Commitment to the organization is a necessary inference, and therefore organizational happiness and success. और निजी जिंदगी में, रिश्तों में, if you invest trust, empathy, and respect, you get permanent, magical, win-win, great, sadabahar relationships. This is where various things are stored, I believe. And as you can see here, our values are stored in be the energy, be the soul. Call that treasure island or the force or universal consciousness or energy or divya shakti or Khuda, Bhagwan, Atma, Atman, Brahman, divine essence, spark, whatever is it that you want, God. So this is where values are stored. And just like our buildings will not be strong if the foundation is not strong, we, the energy, we, the soul, will not be strong if the foundation of our values are not strong. अगर values clear नहीं है, 2, 3, 5 ही काफी है. आपके convenient values. Kindly select them, internalize them, and live your life through them. Because if the values are not clear, फिर हमारे decisions भी clear नहीं होंगे, hazy होंगे. ऐसी लड़खड़ाती हुई जिंदगी रहेगी हमारी. We'll not be clear in anything we do because inside is confusing. Just imagine the kind of peace and happiness you'll experience if your values, अगर आपके values, बोल और कर्म, if your values, that is thoughts, speech and action, are consistent with each other. Look at the quality of our relationships and the richness of this world if this happens. These are the three entities which influence or inspire us in this journey, which I call total quality person. You can call it the journey of realization. Each one of us are in the same journey at various points, different points. Journey of realization, journey towards greatness, Bharpurta ki yatra, spiritual odyssey, Tirth yatra, sadhana, whatever is it that you want to call it. These three, ourselves, our family, more importantly, the parents, who are reservoirs of love for us, and the teacher, the guru, or windows to God. So through ourselves, our parents and teachers, we start yearning for quality from within, ek chahat, ek desire, and effortlessly follow and improve upon the overall quality process. There is a place for everything. Everything has a place. We are neat, clean, organized, and systematic from inside and outside. और इसमें हम कोई टाइम वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे बल्कि टाइम सेव करेंगे क्योंकि ये हमारा सेकंड नेचर बन चुका है. This is us become. Now I have been noticing some of you who have got their videos on. While some of you are giving me the benefit of smile, some of the others are like this, as if galati se bhi hasne se the whole world will collapse. So if we all smile, it's like this place is lit up like a 1,000-watt bulb. So let us never ever deny ourselves and the world the beauty of a smile. So the first way to become more effective, smile more often. वो S को hide करेंगे, the first letter को, it's A. Smile and you travel miles. Importance of body language. You're all stalwarts in communication. You would know that studies show that a whopping 50% effect is courtesy of body language. And what we say, the so-called language, hamare bol or words and vocabulary for which we invest so much of time, energy, effort, and money, they constitute a mere 10% rounded. 40% is the tone, how we speak. Are we speaking with respect and dignity, with love and affection? Or are we rude and crude and angry and hurtful, insulting and humiliating? We may be saying perfectly valid things, but if we are rude and crude and insulting, please listen to us. They may be scared of us because of our position in the hierarchy, but they are not listening to understand. So what's the point of that objective, of that communication? What's the objective? It is a very unsmart thing to do, apart from being a wrong thing to do to hurt people while speaking. So body language, it has to support us. What we say has to be supported by the body language for us to be perceived as a powerful communicator, as an effective, wonderful, great, powerful communicator. And that can happen only if we say what we mean and mean what we say. In short, if we speak the truth. तभी आंख में आंख डाल के बात कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि छुपाने लायक हमने ना कुछ किया है ना कुछ कहा है, तो डर किस बात की? Now I'm going to give you two extreme examples to illustrate that language is important. लेकिन आज दिन तक हमने क्या सोचा? Many of us thought that कितने अच्छे अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं, कितने अच्छे हिंदी बोलते हैं, वाह कितने अच्छे कम्युनिकेटर हैं. गलत. कितने अच्छे हिंदी बोलते हैं, इंग्लिश बोलते हैं, कितने अच्छे स्पीकर हैं. Communicator है या नहीं, remains to be seen. 6 things have to blend beautifully for us to be called effective communicator. Like a good dish, उसमें नमक, मिर्च, vegetables, oil, सबके ingredients सही मिश्रण होना चाहिए. All these 6 things have to blend beautifully. What are those things? We'll just come to. But let me give you 2 extreme examples to drive home the point that while language is important, it is not the only important thing in communication. Just see whether you're able to understand any of what I am saying just now, what I'm going to say. Let me take a few deep breaths. Here I go. A doctor was called to doctor another doctor. With the doctoring doctor, doctor the doctor, doctor in the doctoring doctor's way, or with the doctoring doctor, doctor the doctor, doctor in the doctor, doctor's way. Perfect English, but I wonder whether anything was clear. And this was what my chemistry teacher in school used to do. He used to bring 2 test tubes to the class, one empty, the other full. And this is what he used to tell us. Don't pour it. Pour it. Do this and do this and do. Very poor English, but everything is clear. So what I'm trying to say through these examples, you don't have to speak perfect English as long as your other things are in place. We'll just shortly be saying what those other things are. Develop the right attitude. If you can't change the circumstances, kindly change your attitude towards it. Attitude translates into positive energy, which in turn makes your thoughts and actions positive. I'm able to hear some small sounds in the background. Maybe all of you can keep your mic at mute.
Can I request Mr. Bhupesh Dhundele to please mute himself?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Keep it straight and simple, which I've been saying from the beginning. Personal image matters. Before us, our reputation has traveled not only to our offices, but to our homes as well. When Sachin was playing, somebody came and said, Sachin, the greatest ever, and yet he's so humble. I said, correction. Sachin is humble, that is why he is great. वो greatest ever होके humble नहीं बने, वो humble हैं इसलिए great बने. Personal image matters. Back to KG. To learn all those great values we were taught, evergreen values which we were taught way back then. How to say please, thank you, sorry wherever necessary. How to care, be fair and share in life. Values that are rapidly getting forgotten. So it's time that we revisit the values by revisiting KG. I don't have to say much on this because you're all great leaders. Top quality is inspiration. Effective communication, as we just said, time management, growth, development, and welfare of people is the hallmark of any great leadership. Emotional intelligence, EQ. Incidentally, both IQ and EQ are derived from SQ, spiritual quotient or spiritual intelligence, which is all about who am I, why am I here, what's the purpose of life, and all those other things which we were talking about. It is available in our scriptures. All the answers are there. Globalization is Vasudeva Kutumpagam. Emotional intelligence, in the second chapter of the Gita, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, Sthita Pragyastha Dochade, be a person of stable mind. The wheel of life, different times, all shall pass. जैसे मौसम बदलता रहता है, वक्त भी बदलता रहता है, बदलता रहेगा. But what is in your control is to be stable and balanced in your mind so that you can deal with any challenges, any situation. Leadership is combination of effectiveness, which is character, efficiency, which is strategy. Level 5 and 6 leaders, very high level leaders who combine humility and will. They're very strong internally, people of steel. बड़े विनम्र होते हैं, लेकिन निडर होते हैं. They are polite, they are fearless, they are rare, they are unstoppable, they are humble, they are courageous. And the level 6 leaders add to all this, they combine seva bhav, the attitude of seva. And studies tell us that leadership is the top quality for an organization to be catapulted, jump, that Gulel wala jump, from mediocrity to sustained levels of excellence and greatness. Not computer systems, not the decor, not the four walls, but you, leaders. You are responsible for an organization to be catapulted to greatness and excellence. Are we a crowd of people or are we a nation of citizens? Are we going to be here without any purpose? Are we going to be like the crores of people who come to this world and leave without doing anything much? Or are we going to be like the select few who came here, touched people, and made a difference? We are all breathing, yet how many of us are even aware of our breath? So this is all about being aware, alive, and awake, as Swami Vivekananda said. Rajesh Khanna Sahab, in another cult classic of his, Anand, he says, Zindagi lambi nahi, badi honi chahiye. The quality of life is not about how long, it's about how. So Sresht or Sreshtas are enlightened people who believe in Vivek management or managing through wisdom. Raja Rishi, another age-old concept in our scriptures. I am linking the modern day concept of a great leader with the age-old concept of a Raja Rishi. A modern day great leader has to combine the energy and passion of a king or a queen along with the wisdom and maturity of a sage or a Rishi. Raja Rishi, resulting in total quality leadership. Leadership जिसके वजह से सपने साकार होते हैं. Leadership जिसके वजह से जो treasure island which we carry in our small body of ours, the divine essence, this powerful force without even being aware of it. Great leaders make us aware of that. वो खुद भी aware रहते हैं, अपने लोगों को भी aware करवा देते हैं. And then they bring out this force, not only for the welfare of the people concerned, but for the welfare of everybody. So that's what total quality leadership, great leadership, inspiration leadership is all about. Good leaders may have several followers, but great leaders, they create more leaders so that nothing suffers when they are no longer there. Well, effective communication, therefore, is a beautiful blend of language, tone, how we speak, body language, social graces, etiquette, and manners, listening. Are we listening to understand the deep communication of other souls? Are we establishing emotional bank accounts which can be withdrawn, just like we are able to withdraw amounts, money from savings bank account? If we listen from empathy, if we listen with empathy, we are able to create EBAs, emotional bank accounts, from where we can withdraw. Those people will come to us for help when we need the most, because we were there for them. We listened to them once upon a time. And finally, character. Are we living and walking our talk? Are we practicing what we preach? Our character, our vibrations, our values are the most eloquent and powerful communicators. So coming to a few powerful stories now in our most powerful segment of this capsule of a total quality person. The 10 commandments of a total quality person. The first is and has to be integrity. माथे पे लिखा होना चाहिए, not for sale. Neither us nor our values are for sale. Are we giving our best at every point of time? And are we redefining our best at every moment of time by believing in continuous learning and improvement? Then we are reflecting excellence. Are we running the extra mile? Do we believe in the powerful two words, I can? There are enough people to give excuses. Can we believe in I can? Can we give more than what is expected from us, not only at work, but as I said earlier, at home too, to our relationships? Win-win is neither your way nor my way. It is just a different way. It's a better way. For me to win, I don't think any of us need to lose. Can I win? Can she win? Can he win too? Can we have that mindset so that more often than not, it happens? Both dependence and independence should be out. What should be in is interdependence. If I have an apple and Pratima ji has an apple, and if we exchange apples, we still have an apple each. But if I have an idea and Pratima ji has an idea, if we discuss those ideas, we have two ideas each. And that is what is synergy. Where 2 plus 2 is not 4, 5, it can be 500, it can be 1,000, 10,000, anything which we want to be. The powerful concept of teamwork. Proactive. As I just said, are we opening and reinforcing emotional bank accounts by listening with empathy? This is the most important aspect for great relationships. अब जब ये नहीं हो पाता, तो रिश्ते तो टूटेंगे ही. Every organization, including yours, I see Shastri Saab here from Gale, ISTD, everybody, each one of us here, every company has a mission statement. Can we also have an individual mission statement? One mission statement can be, as an example, I'm going to lead a life of integrity and I'm going to make a difference in the lives of others. That need not be yours, but I'm requesting you to very kindly consider having a mission statement and living your life that way. In the final part of our capsule today, we'll talk a bit about happiness and success. Now, this is a chart which I've given here. You can take your pick. I've given about 30 plus values here. Easy, simple to adopt values, which I'm sure all of you will have. We may not be able to articulate them because we have not really thought about them. But with awareness, we can adopt some of these values today and start living our lives that way. Let's talk about some of these values with some accompanying stories. For example, say forgiveness, क्षमा. कुछ इस तरह मैंने जिंदगी को आसान कर दिया, किसी से माफी मांग ली तो किसी को माफ कर दिया. It's a divine quality which helps me more than anybody else. The fifth from here is faith. So a few true life examples to illustrate faith. President Kennedy, very many decades ago, was having a discussion with his top scientist of that time, Dr. Werner von Braun. And the topic of the discussion was, the president was asking the scientist, what will it take us to reach the moon for the first time? Those days, it was still a pipe dream. So the president was asking the scientist, what will be the most important thing for us to reach the moon for the first time? And he was bracing for an answer like the scientist would say, it will take that much of technology, this much of people, this much of money. So the question by the president, what will it take us to reach the moon for the first time? And the response by the brilliant Sir Werner von Braun, so powerful, so simple, and so true. All that it will take us to reach the moon for the first time is our will to do it. is our faith. The rest of the things will all fall to its place, to its rightful place as satellite qualities, if we have the belief, the faith to do it. Sir Walt Disney, we all know him. उनको क्या कहें? Magician कहें, क्या कहें? He first made Disneyland and then he created Disney World. Just before the inauguration of Disney World, a few weeks before, alas, sadly, Sir Walt Disney passed away. So this was the inauguration. Here was Roy Disney representing his late brother Sir Walt Disney. These were the newspaper people who had come to cover the event. And there, gleaming, shining, glowing at a distance, was the Magic Kingdom, the Disney World. So one newspaper person suddenly got up, pointed to the Magic Kingdom of the Disney World and asked Roy Disney, how sad that Walt Disney passed away before seeing Disney World. How sad. And Roy Disney replied, he had already seen it. That's why it is there. उन्होंने तो बहुत पहले देख लिया. कहाँ? यहाँ. He had already visualized it and then went about making it happen through faith and hard work. Sir Edmund Hillary. He was the first man to reach the peak of Mount Everest. Any idea after how many unsuccessful attempts? 5, 6, 8, 17, 17. During one such attempt, you know what he did? He shook his fist and shouted at the peak. He said, today you have defeated me, but I'll come back and conquer you. Why? You cannot get any bigger, but I can. And he did. So it is faith that has made people like this and so many others come up with so many things which we are using today as sadhan for comfort. If they had believed in the word impossible, nothing of this sort would have happened. So there is nothing called impossible. With faith, it becomes, I am possible. Everything is possible. Then we have a great value called gratitude, counting blessings. I'm not joking. At 61 years of age, every day when I wake up in the morning, this is what I do. Kuch masala hai, dhadak raha hai ki ludak chuka hu. If I've kicked the bucket, I don't think I can do anything. Agar masala baki hai, to I silently thank God. Thank you, God, one more day to serve. The very fact that there is life energy inside us when so many people are sadly perishing, isn't that reason enough for us to be grateful and thankful? Apart from so many other things which we are aware of, our family, our profession, our friends, our material acquisitions, ye sab to hain. But surely this is the most important. Be grateful at every point of time. That's a sure way to experience happiness. Generosity, the power to give. You know, there is the Malay Mandir in Delhi. Those of you who are from, this is Delhi chapter, so many of us are from Delhi. Malay is based on a Tamil word. Malay in Tamil means mountain. So this is a temple atop a mountain. वो मलाई करके हिंदी का रसमलाई बन चुका है, मलाई मंदिर. So if you come along that outer ring road, you come to Munirka and then you come to IIT crossing. Underneath that flyover, there are some beggar children. I don't know what they see in others, what they see in me. Every time I come there, they come running to me, uncle. Whatever little I have, I give it to them. My children, Gaurav and Disha, are also very compassionate in giving. In fact, Disha takes care of a rooster and a hen and 35 dogs in the locality, in the park and the street. So one day, my daughter Disha and I were there in the car. We had parked for the red signal to turn green. And from underneath the flyover, there came a small beggar boy with shining eyes looking at me like this. On that particular day, I had nothing to give. I said, sorry, beta, aaj to kuch bhi nahi hai dene ke liye. So you know what he did? Uske paas ek phool ka guldasta tha, one flower bouquet, which he gives it to my daughter Disha and says, ye aapke liye hai, aur iske liye aapko mujhe dene ki, kuch bhi dene ki zarurat nahi hai. Main हैरान रह गया. I was stunned, dazed, amazed, wonderstruck as to अमीर कौन है और गरीब कौन है. क्या हम अमीर हैं? By God's grace, we have everything. How often have we thought of truly helping the poor and the needy? क्या वो बच्चा गरीब था? मुझे नहीं लगता. He had no problem, no hesitation in giving the only thing he had, which could have been his passport for the next meal. So generosity, the power to give, is not a function of the bank balance. It's a state of the mind, it's a state of the heart. We can be generous and rich without much money in the bank because richness is a quality of the soul of the being. Another value to have is courage, himmat, sahas. I have a newspaper clipping here. It's not very clear. I'll read out the headlines. Most of these stories are true stories. Little Braveheart battles past leopard, in which a 14-year-old girl saves her kid sister 7 years of age, Savli and Radha Maheda, by jumping on a leopard and fighting with it. This one says, hero dies in hospital. This incident happened more than 10 years ago in the outskirts of Meerut, called Victoria Park. So one day there was an exhibition there, and there were several people, hundreds of people gathered there for the exhibition. As tough luck would have it, there was a short circuit and it caught fire. So before anybody could realize what was happening, it was aag hi aag, raging inferno. This guy, the photograph is not clear, Mohammad Javed, 18 years of age. He looks like a Bollywood hero, a rock star. Fire was there, वो यहाँ पे था, उसको सिर्फ एक काम करना था, घर जाना था बस. But he's not ordinary, he doesn't go home. You know what he did? He jumps in the fire, saves the little girl, puts her down. Doesn't go home now. Jumps in the fire, saves the little boy, puts him down. Doesn't go home even now. Jumps again and yet again. On that fateful day, saves 4 small children from certain death. In the process, gets 90% burns. Is admitted in Safdarjung Hospital in Delhi, from where later he dies. His mother was heard weeping and wailing. मेरा बच्चा कितना खूबसूरत था, जल गया. अब आप क्या कहेंगे ऐसे लोगों के बारे में, ऐसे बच्चों के बारे में? Even courage, himmat, sahas, they seem to be a small word. All I can say is ये लोग अपनी जान अपने हथेली पे लेके चलते हैं. मर जाते हैं शायद, लेकिन हमेशा जिंदा रहते हैं. In the hearts of the people they touch, they live forever. They are like this eternal light, Amardeep, an eternal light of life and love, who live for others and therefore and thereby live forever. Another value to have is patriotism, love for the country. There is an account of a man who goes outside one day in today's raging pandemic times, looks up and shouts at God, Ya Rab, game duniya mein itna to kiya hota, kuch humse kaha hota, kuch humse suna hota. Oh God, what is happening to the world you have created? As if things were not enough, bad and sad things were not enough already. You have given us a raging pandemic also, COVID. As if there were suicides and rapes and murders and terrorism and accidents and robberies. ये क्या काफी नहीं थे? ये भी दे दिया आपने. You have to do something to the world you have given us, God. And God replies gently, kindly, softly. I have already done something. I have sent you. मैंने आपको इस दुनिया में भेज के अपना काम कर दिया. अब आप अपना काम कीजिए. Each one of us needs to take responsibility for making things happen. 2 stories on patriotism, which unlike the stories I've shared so far, they are not true stories. They are rhetoric, idealistic stories. I hope any of the younger generation sitting here or in our country will make these stories happen because they are the future. They are the future leaders and nation builders. They are the wealth of this country. The first story is an account of 3 people, an American, a Japanese, and an Indian having a cup of coffee. And the conversation is, what would I like to be if I'm not this? So the American, after a sip, he says, I'd love to be, if I was not an American, I'd love to be a Japanese. Looks at the Japanese and smiles. The Japanese smiles and bows and smiles and bows again and says, if I'm not a Japanese, I'd love to be an American. So both of them look condescendingly at the Indian as if to tell him, We have said it all. What are you going to say? And the Indian proudly gets up and says, if I'm not an Indian, I'll be ashamed. मुझे और कुछ बनना ही नहीं है. I want to be an Indian always. Patriotism. The second story on patriotism is that of a traveler who travels from country to country with a one-point agenda. Wherever he goes, he wants to call heaven. So he first goes to US, goes to a phone booth and says, I want to call heaven. How much should I pay? $500, please. Then he goes to UK, goes to a phone booth and says, I want to call heaven. How much should I pay? £250, please. As he goes from country to country, pays through his nose. At last, very tired, he comes to India, goes to a phone booth and says, tiredly, wearily, I want to call heaven. How much should I pay? And the phone booth owner says, ₹2, please. This fellow nearly faints of shock. He says, I paid through my nose. कहीं $500, कहीं £250, कहीं कुछ. यहाँ पे आप ₹2 कह रहे हैं सिर्फ स्वर्ग कॉल करने के लिए. How come it is so economical to call heaven from India? And the proud phone booth owner says, Sir, आप स्वर्ग पहुंच चुके हैं. You've already reached heaven. Welcome to the only heaven on earth, which is India. From here, calling heaven is a local call. And we charge only ₹2 for local calls. इसलिए आपको सिर्फ ₹2 pay करने हैं. So patriotism. So, ladies and gentlemen, all these values and the propagation of these. A small interruption before I go ahead and finish this workshop in the next half an hour or so, or even earlier, I'll try to. So when I started heading that value-based institution 20 years ago, 1998 to be precise, 22 years. So these kinds of things started hitting me, and I started developing this workshop. And today it's become a mission of life to touch people and to try and make a difference by sharing this. I share it with the corporate, I share it with the government, with public sector undertakings, with teachers, students, freelance, banks, defense, ashrams, anybody, as I said, as a mission of life. So 800 workshops through 30 cities from Uttarakhand till Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And once I had the proud privilege of taking it as a small gift from India, when IFTDO, International Federation for Training and Development, invited me. I was the only invited speaker. That was really a matter of honor for me from India. And my topic was TQP for happiness and success. And the seminar theme was creating happiness in the workplace. They had chosen Dubai as the destination way back in 2018, because Dubai, as some of you are aware, they have a ministry for happiness headed by a minister. So this also coincided with the World Happiness Day. And the global audience really appreciated what I was covering based on our scriptures. In general, after these workshops, there is laughter and there are tears, and people say it's been riveting and mesmerizing, soul-stirring and life-changing. So I do hope that I'm able to touch you in a small way today. And anytime you want me to share it in detail, I'm always available. So 2 posters I've got for you. One is the value of a smile, which we discussed earlier. A smile is the shortest distance between 2 people. So always smile, keep smiling despite what is happening around us. And the second is going to be our final module. I'll be sharing it in a few minutes. Thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases from being shared. One of the very few qualities जो हम जब दूसरे को देते हैं दूसरों को, तो कम नहीं होता हमें, बल्कि कभी पैसे देते हैं, चीजें देते हैं, तो उतने चीजें तो हमें कम हो जाता है. अच्छी चीजें करते हैं, but it reduces in us. But this defies all laws of mathematics. Khushi, happiness. Try giving it, try sharing it. It multiplies in you. It amplifies in you. 2 more examples. One is Gyan, knowledge. Always share your knowledge. That again increases in you if you give. And the third, of course, is love, prem, pyar. To give it your experience seems to be more profound of love. So when we talk of success, I don't think this can be success. We are talking about lots of friends in the social media, but where are the true friends? We are living in palatial houses maybe, but small families. High IQ, but hardly any EQ. आज दिन तक हमने दवाओं का असर रोज देखते हैं. दुआओं का असर देखने की कोशिश कीजिए. Blessing, your lives will change dramatically. That's what comes out of empathy and emotional intelligence. Try it. It's magic because people will be yours forever. People might forget what you say. They might even forget what you do. But if you make your people feel special, which is what they are, everybody is special. Believe it, Mark, take it from me, they are yours forever. वो आपके लिए कुछ भी करेंगे. हमें सिर्फ लोगों को संभालना है, वो नंबर्स को देख लेंगे. हम नंबर्स को देखते हैं, लोगों को नहीं देखते, वहीं पे गड़बड़ होता है. We have touched the moon, but we don't know the neighbors. We have expensive watches, but we don't have वक्त किसके पास है. We have advanced medicines, but very poor health. High incomes, all right, but where is the peace of mind, and so on. This cannot be success. This also cannot be success. 20-25 साल तक we are fine, we are living and laughing and learning, playing, we are enjoying life. उसके बाद 60-65 तक ऐसे रगड़ के जिंदा लाश की तरह जिंदगी गुजारते हैं, धक्के खा के, हर पल मरते रहते हैं, खुदते रहते हैं, एक उधार की जिंदगी. मरने से पहले कई बार मरते हैं. हमें मरने से पहले मरना नहीं है, हमें मरने के बाद भी जिंदा रहना है. And then finally we cross 65, we are touching 70, लुढ़कने के लिए तैयार. This certainly cannot be success. So what is success? Success is giving around the same emphasis on work, family, friends, relationships, leisure, personal growth, and spiritual attainment. Success is that balance, work-life plus. Plus I have mentioned because it's not only work and life, but all these 6 things. Focus, conserve, compartmentalize, marketing orientation. We should have each one of us should have a human resource mindset as well. We have to bring out that treasure island. We have to realize what kind of power and force that Ishvara Sarva Bhutana. All the religions are saying the same thing. Gita says Ishvara Sarva Bhutana. Islam says जब खुद की तलाश में निकला तो खुदा को पाया, और खुदा की तलाश में निकला तो खुद को पाया. The Bible says the kingdom of heaven is within us. उसको बाहर निकालना है. That is success. We have to do our very best. Success is feeling light, beautiful, and stable. हर परिस्थिति में stable रहना, हर interaction में positive energy exchange करना, और हर रिश्ते में देना. ये मेरे ख्याल से सही मायना है कामयाबी. Success is santosh, contentment, satisfaction. Success is also khushi, happiness, which comes by giving our best, which comes by serving, and a host of other things. In my 2-day workshop, I have a segment called A to Z of happiness. Success is the journey from icon to icon. अभी कहाँ पे हैं? I'm not talking about us people in general. मेरे लिए क्या है? What's in it for me? The moment you come out of this small bottle, जहाँ पे pressure immediately stress बन जाता है, अगर ये bottle की capacity, mind की capacity full हो जाता है. So we can expand this bottle by bringing a 1-liter bottle or a 2-liter jar or a 5-liter jar. So similarly expand the mind so that pressure is not converted to stress. Stress is our response to pressure. Pressure natural है, सही है. Stress natural है, गलत. Tension natural है, वो भी गलत. So icon is यहाँ पे हम लड़खड़ा रहे हैं, मेरे लिए क्या है? And when we travel, when we advance the sadhana, the journey of life, the spiritual odyssey, and we reach a point, मैं आपके लिए क्या कर सकता हूँ? मैं आपकी क्या सेवा कर सकता हूँ? What can I do for you? Then we become icons who can guide billions of others. Talking about stress and pressure, Ramana Maharshi, the great sage, after whom I believe I was named, he was asked, he was stuck with cancer during his final physical state. So enthusiastic devotees who loved him, who worshipped him, they would go to him and ask him kindly, softly, gently, Swamiji, Guruji, sir, you'll be in pain and you'll be suffering a lot, isn't it? And Ramana Maharshi will reply, yes, I'm in pain, but I'm not suffering. Look at the profoundness, the powerful reply of this response, the mindset of Ramana Maharshi. I'm in pain because cancer has been given to me. I can't do anything about it. But suffering is my choice, and I've chosen not to suffer. So by a spiritual approach to life, by yoga, meditation, pranayama, chanting, we can also choose not to get stressed out. We can choose to be happy. So this is a better representation of success. I'll leave this chart for a minute or so that you can take a quick look at it. Based on what we discussed, this could be a better representation of success. I hope you are still able to look at my charts, right?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. John Lennon, the celebrated singer from the Beatles group during my time, when he was in school, his teacher asked the students, their students, the assignment of the day was the teacher had given the students. She was asking the students, what would you like to be when you grow up? जैसे हम लोग बड़े इरिटेटिंग तरीके से बच्चों से पूछते हैं, बेटा जरा बताओ बड़े होके क्या बनोगे? ऐसे वो टीचर भी पूछा उस दिन. So one of them got up and said, ma'am, I want to be an engineer, doctor, architect, management, lawyer, judge, judiciary, whatever. Teacher. John Lennon's turn came. John, what would you like to be? John Lennon got up and said, ma'am, I want to be happy. So the teacher said, John, I'm afraid you haven't understood the assignment. And John Lennon replied, ma'am, I'm afraid you haven't understood life. मुझे शायद असाइनमेंट की समझ नहीं है, मुझे लगता है आपको जिंदगी की समझ नहीं है. Happiness. There is this very powerful book called Acres of Diamonds, written by Russell Cornwell. Acres of Diamonds by Russell Cornwell tells the story of a poor man who sells his house and goes far and wide in search of diamonds. The story goes on to say that at the end of a certain point of time, he's not able to get the diamonds. He's exhausted spent all his money. His health has gone to pieces. एक जिंदा लाश की तरह इधर उधर घूम रहे हैं. And ironically, the person who bought the small house from this poor man, he is able to find those diamonds in that very house. Isn't it the same for happiness? खुशी को हम कहाँ ढूंढते हैं? परिस्थितियों में, रिश्तों में, acquisitions में और achievements में. वो जो न सिर्फ हमारे अंदर थी, बल्कि हम खुद हैं. In fact, our definition is that of a happy being, and the cup of happiness is already full, bharpoor. All we need to do in this journey of life, जैसे वो circus पहले आते थे circus, तो उसमें tightrope walking जैसे करते थे. We have to do that in the journey of life so that we don't spill from the cup. Every time we get irritated, angry, upset, we are spilling from the cup and we feel we are not happy. So some thoughts on happiness. JATC syndrome. So happiness is not JATC, which means happiness is not just around the corner. JATC. Happiness उस कोने में नहीं है. Happiness अब है, यहाँ है. जिंदगी ये पल, हर खुशी भी यही पल. अगर ये पल में हम भरपूरता की महसूस करते हुए हमारा बेस्ट देते हैं, तो अगले पल की रचना कर चुके हैं automatically. We have created the future. This is how it is said that we create our own destinies. Happiness, नस नस में खुशी है या होनी चाहिए. As I said in my big workshops, I share A to Z. Here I'll share A, B, C, Ds of happiness. A for accept, appreciate. B for balance, be in the moment. C for count blessings, create thoughts of happiness. And D, lead a life of dharma. Satyam vada dharmam chara. Lead a life of values. Do not be judgmental. Do not count mistakes. Do not play the blame game. When you are pointing finger, 3 fingers are pointing at us. Accept, appreciate, count your blessings. Balance, lead a life of values. And इसको plural बनाने के लिए A, B, C, D's, small s could be savor. S for serve, simple, spiritual, smile. These are the new paradigms. So 3 cartoons for you. One person goes and shouts, approaches a monk and shouts at him, I want happiness. And the monk says softly, remove want, that is desire. Remove I, that is ahankar, ego. Bacha kya hai? Happiness. I am so glad that at 61 years of age, I had a childhood before technology took over. Did you? A person goes and asks another person, why are you so happy? And the other one says, I have no idea. Isn't this better? Be happy for no reason, because if you're happy for a reason, you're in trouble, because that reason can be taken away from you. So the revised paradigm is, end of the month तनख्वाह मिलेगी, I'll be happy. या रिश्ता टिकेगा, I'll be happy. यहाँ से वहाँ पहुंचूंगा, promotion, I'll be happy. I am already happy. खुशी से काम करना, खुशी से रिश्ता निभाना. Happiness is not a consequence, it's a beginning point. Try living life that way. It's a whole new experience, let me assure you. The quality of our relationships, the power, the nature of our roles we are playing, and the quality of our lives. Everything will change dramatically. So in my detailed workshops, I also explain the concept of a spiritual diary as against the usual diary which we maintain. This is the usual diary. Just in my case, I make entries with rang birange pens, red, blue, black, and green. Today, I'll be making an entry about this workshop. Spiritual diary may 20 points which I have given. I will be requesting the participants to live each of them every day, one value per day. And any benefits that you experience, either personally or in your relationships, note it down in a journal and call it spiritual journal or diary. It will be yours because ये आपके benefit के लिए है. So there are 20 of these, and you'll have these things with you. No need to read it now. This I hope and pray will be, I call it the dream dozen, the dozen outcomes from the small capsule and the big workshops which we can have. Imagine the beauty of our interactions and the richness of this world if we play our roles and responsibilities with an understanding of who we are and why are we here. Zindagi ka maqsad, the purpose of life. Effective communication is not merely good language. What are the ingredients? We discussed that. Along with efficiency measures, is time management also thought management? See, the lists and priorities which we keep talking about, time management, agar yahan pe sthir hain, stable, balanced, and tranquil, the lists and priorities will flow beautifully, effortlessly. How to eliminate stress? We are talking about time management, but I'm not convinced with stress management. I think a more confident, courageous approach is stress elimination. आज दिन तक आपने किसी को सुना है ये कहते हुए मैं 102 बुखार को मैनेज करके चलता हूं. So why should we manage stress? उसे तो निकाल बाहर करना है. And that can happen with a spiritual approach to life. Western techniques can teach us stress management, but it's only Indian ethos and spiritual approach which will enable us to throw away stress. Importance of listening and building emotional bank accounts, EBAs, for winning relationships. Proactive, the power of values. happiness enabling success, not the other way around, and peace leading to progress and prosperity, again, not the other way around. Great leadership, how to inspire people, the right paradigm of excellence, nishkama karma, karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Just do our best. Don't be obsessed with the result. It is very logical. Don't take it because it's in the Gita. On the other hand, it is in the Gita because all these things are very powerful and logical and practical. The Gita is not a retirement plan. It doesn't say go to the mountains and jungles to have peace. Peace is very much here. It is not work which is giving us stress. Work can never do that. Work, if done properly, is joyful, invigorating, and rewarding. It is our attitude towards work. So when we are doing our best without bothering much about the result, क्या मुझे इनसे ज़्यादा पैसे मिलेंगे? क्या ISTD मेरे लिए इतना अच्छा feedback देंगे? I'm not concerned of all that because they are not in my hands. If we are focused on giving our best, we are at peace because वो चीज कर रहे हैं जो सिर्फ हमारे हाथ में है. The mind is crystal clear, razor sharp. Why won't we get the results? यही तो चाहिए results के लिए. Lifelong continuous learning and improvement, interdependence, unleashing exciting synergy, and be a sthita pragya, stable and balanced regardless of the situation. So what is the purpose of life? My 5 blessings. What are the 5 great things in your life for which you are thankful? Say your family, your work, of course the life energy, your friends, your material acquisitions, your hobbies, anything. What are your 5 preferred values? आज एक list बना ही देते हैं whenever you're free, so that we are leading our lives with awareness. We are crystal clear on our values. जो हमें पसंद है वही select करेंगे. कोई आपको मजबूर नहीं करेगा, force नहीं करेगा. How would I like to be remembered? You know, when I asked this in the corporate world and government departments, recently I was sharing TQP with judges from UP, all the judicial officers, Indian Institute of Public Administration. I'm a regular faculty there. So they call me for all the senior government officers like joint secretaries and customs and excise and so on. So before the pandemic, we had a 3-year program. So 3 years without missing a class I went. I was given an award for not only excellent feedback, but for not missing a class. All the judicial officers from UP came and we had the TQP workshops. तो उनसे जब पूछता हूँ या कॉर्पोरेट से जब पूछता हूँ, तो बच्चों से जब पूछता हूँ for a MBA PGDM student, the question is, how would you like to be remembered when you leave the campus in 2 years? Government officers and the corporate world, how would you like to be remembered when you retire? Spiritual workshops, hardcore and core spiritual workshops in ashrams. How would you like to be remembered when we leave our bodies? So the answers will be something like, I want to be remembered as a good human being, somebody who worked hard, somebody who brought a smile, somebody who helped others. So I tell the participants, I'm very proud of these responses. Who won't be? Itne lofty, itne noble responses are rahe. And I'm sure you mean what you say, I tell them. But a small, gentle request and rider will be that if we want to be remembered as somebody, just make sure that we are that somebody. We cannot be what we are and expect the world to remember us in noble ways. It may not happen that way. Alfred Nobel, Pratima, I'm wrapping up in another 5 to 7 minutes.
Surely, sure.
Thank you. Alfred Nobel, people like you, it's a great audience, very quality audience, illustrious people you are, you would know Alfred Nobel. He was credited, rather discredited, with the discovery of the dynamite. तो एक दिन बड़े शान से अखबार देख रहे थे चाय के कप के साथ, and he saw to his shock and horror his own obituary. वो अखबार ऐसे देख रहे थे, obituary की तस्वीर ऐसे उन्हें देख रहा, like this. So what had happened? It was a small but important mistake. His brother had died, and newspaper people mistakenly thought that Alfred Nobel himself has died, and promptly wrote his Shraddhanjali, obituary. So that was the shock number 1. जैसे गोविंदा के pictures आते थे, hero number 1, Anadi number 1, Chachi number 1, BV number 1. This was the shock number 1. एक और shock था, as that was the shock number 2. as if Jeete ji Shraddhanjali ko dekhna wasn't shocking enough. The second shock was what was mentioned in the obituary. The heading was Merchant of Death Dies. ये था. So he realized to his horror that the world is going to remember him this way after he dies. And he didn't want to be remembered this way. Who would? Then he created the Nobel Peace Prize Foundation. So today, Sir Alfred Nobel, as he's called, is remembered more for the Nobel Prize than for the dynamite. अब उनको वो मौका मिल गया. क्या मौका? जीते जी श्रद्धांजलि देखना. हमें शायद वो मौका नहीं मिलेगा. So it's important for us to figure out how do we want to be remembered? Because if that is figured out, everything else will come and fall in its place. Now, before I wrap up, just three little things and the final story, we are through. The first is, this is a 500 rupee note. And this is also a 500 rupee note, rumpled and wrinkled and crumpled and crushed. But has it lost its value, intrinsic value? Not at all. It remains a 500 rupee note. So similarly, Bhagwan na kare, I don't want this to happen to anybody, lekin it can happen to some of us at some point of time. Because शायद कुछ हमने गलत निर्णय ले लिया या किसी ने पीछे से कुछ किया, so we feel worthless, pushed to that corner, and we start thinking we are useless, worthless. Always remember that regardless of what happens to us, our intrinsic divine light is unblemished, unfazed. We are and we will always be special. The second incident is we are driving through a busy highway, and there is a big stone right in the middle of the path. So what do most of us do? We go around the stone, and not only that, दो चार बातें देश के बारे में कहते हुए जाते हैं. इसलिए इस देश का सत्यानाश हो रहा है, ये वो. I would like to think that when some of the younger generation, you are driving your car, and you see this big stone, you will stop where the stone is, get out of the car, heave and push and pant and move the stone away. Who knows, when you come back to where the stone was, you will see a small piece of paper on which will be the words written in gold, golden words, invisible, but very true and very powerful, that you are the true wealth of the nation. You're priceless, you're precious. And whenever we serve you as teachers, as trainers, we feel as if we are serving the nation, because the younger generation is going to be the nation. The third small thing, just a small visualization exercise, please. Just 4 little steps. I request each one of you to close your eyes, please. Whether your video is on or off, kindly close your eyes wherever you are. The first step, imagine that somebody is coming to you for help. Kindly close your eyes. The first step, imagine that somebody is coming to you for help. The second step, help that person, serve that person who came to you asking for help. Indeed, help him or her. उनकी सेवा कीजिए. Third step, because you served him or her, helped them, the person you helped is beaming, shining, glowing with happiness. क्यों? क्योंकि आपने उनकी मदद की, उनकी सेवा की. They are very happy about it. The fourth and final step, when you see them happy, your own states of happiness are triggered. Your heart expands with happiness. You're also beaming and shining and glowing with happiness. Ask yourselves the question, how far is heaven? Open your eyes slowly, please. Slowly open your eyes. The question, how far is heaven? And the answer, we are in heaven. By which I mean, we don't have to go anywhere for hell or heaven. They come to us here in this world, depending on how we live life. If we live life serving, helping people, and the other ways by which I shared with you, we've already created our pockets of heaven. I saw our chairman Mukesh Jain Saab's Facebook post yesterday, in which he has said, I want to keep my morale high. Am I right, sir? So in
Yes,
that,
sir. Yes, sir.
yeah, I saw that. And in that post, I saw your face beaming and shining and glowing. So
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
this is the secret. If we are happy, let us, have well-being. Let us show that happiness. The power, let us glow and shine and radiate that happiness. And that power of that reflection should first touch people who are closest to us. So let's not take our people who are closest to us for granted. Let's not hurt them. Let's be there for them. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think the highlight of whatever little we shared today were those 10 odd stories or a dozen stories. And I'm going to end this workshop with this final story of the evening. This is the story of a teacher who gives an assignment to her small school children. And the assignment is, she requests the children to list the 7 wonders of the world. Dunya ke 7 ajoobe. So the little students, after a bit of discussions and voting, they come up with the following 7 wonders of the world. Taj Mahal of India, the stunning symbol of love. Egypt's Great Pyramids, Grand Canyon, Panama Canal, Empire State Building, St. Peter's Basilica, and China's Great Wall. So the teacher observed that one little girl was fidgeting, squirming, hesitant, tentative, uncertain, unsure. So she approaches the little girl and tells her, child, beta, main aapki madad kar sakti hu. Is something bothering you? And the little girl says, ma'am, I don't know, I've written something, ab aapko dekhna padega. So the teacher looks at what the little girl had written and comes back to share with the rest of the class what that child had written. The little girl had written, I think the 7 wonders are to touch, to taste, to see, to hear, to feel, to laugh, and to love. A small, gentle reminder to all of us that some of our most important and precious things are right here. Whether it's our great country, whether it's our health, our family, our friends, our society, ISTD, the organization we are working for, let us never ever take them for granted. The fact that all of you luminaries assembled here and gave me so much of love and affection, dignity and respect in the hour and 15, 20 minutes or hour and a half that we were here, to me is as beautiful, as interesting, as powerful, and as wonderful as any of these wonders of the world. Thank you, God bless, and Jai Hind.
Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Ramanan, for a wonderful talk. It was really enlightening. Really enjoyed listening to your words of wisdom. Very practical pointers you shared through the transformational stories. And I particularly like the value list you shared with us. And I already have a pick of 14, for myself. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Pratima. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. So now it is time for the question answers. So, I was just going through the chat box, and
Yes.
there are many very, good comments people have made. They have really liked and appreciated.
Thank you very much. Means a lot coming from all of you giants and high achievers. Thanks a
I'll
lot.
read the comments also for you. But first, the question. The question is from Arpita Ganguly. And she has 2 questions, in fact. One is that with so much of anxiety, and losing loved ones, there is fear. How can we maintain the balance in our life? While a lot of points have already been shared, any particular suggestion you would like to give where to start?
Thank you. Arpita ji, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Arpita ji, thank you for the question, a very powerful question. I do agree and empathize. In fact, I think each one of us are going through that. Each one of us are going through hell, I would say, especially during the times of the pandemic. I don't think there is not many exceptions of, I think all of us have lost some loved ones or people who are suffering or in pain. The only thing is, I would like to just give a small example while absolutely not dismissing this point. It's a very powerful point. and all my empathy and understanding for you. So it's like a journey. We have to see where what is going to be the best for us and people around us. A small example: a child falls down and hurts herself or himself, and blood is oozing, and the girl comes running to you. वो तो ऑलरेडी दर्द में है, वो रो भी रही है बच्ची. उनको देखते हुए अगर हम लोग भी रो पड़े, ओ ये आपने क्या किया, आपको मना किया था ना वहां जाने के लिए, हाँ ये क्या हो गया. So who's going to take that child to a doctor? Who's going to administer first aid to that child? So if the child is in pain, we should be concerned, but we should be stable and balanced, so that we can administer first aid or take that child to a doctor. So all I'm saying is, while understanding the pain that we are going through, from somewhere we have to summon this stability and balance so that we can make sense of what is happening. And slowly but surely, whether it is through health measures, vaccinations, whether it is through our thought process, whether it is through the, bringing out this huge treasure island, this power, the essence, combination of all this, tangible and the intangible, powerful things, intuition, tutor from inside, which is that faint voice, that soft voice called God. ये सब को summon करके, enough courage, हिम्मत को summon करके, somehow we can lead lives. So it is just a prescription. You can kindly consider it for your convenience. But it cannot be, your question is very valid. Nobody is even trying to belittle the kind of pain that each one of us is going through. Thank you.
Very much, Dr. Ramanan. And now the second question, it's actually a request. Arpita again is asking. She is saying that, can you share the 20 spiritual diary points which you had shared?
Sure. Sure.
So,
definitely. I'm just going to do it right now.
I think you can, show the slide.
That's right. See, now that Arpitaji has shown interest, let me just briefly talk about this. Both the designation at Prudentia Group and at the institution which I was talking to you about resulted at the end of the TQP workshop, where the directors and I sat down and we created a Center for Human Values and Potential in the organization and Center for Joy at Work in the institution. And we discussed the take-homes of the workshop. So one such thing was this, which I suggested to the entire team, small groups, as well as individually during discussions with them. So the feedback I got was that when we adopt this, we're able to have enhanced productivity at work and enriching relationships at home. So as Pratima ji pointed out, it's a very, very practical approach to life. In fact, indeed, the spiritual approach is not only practical, it is the only thing which is practical, because it's the only thing which is enduring and lasting, where we don't ever fall down with a thud. We just continuously grow and improve, learn, improve. So for example, day one, we adopt this mechanism that we have decided, okay, today come what may, I'm going to accept people and situations as they are. By accepting people, it doesn't mean we are agreeing with them. We are just accepting that people are different. पांच उंगली एक जैसे नहीं है हमारे खुद में. So how can we expect people around us to be our clones? So expect and there is misery. Accept and there is peace. So do not be judgmental on that particular day, come what may. So शाम को evaluate कीजिए. Did it make you feel better? Did it improve your relationships? If so, and in what way, put it down in a journal, which is for your record, for your reference. That is what is a spiritual diary. Similarly, next day, do not count mistakes. आपने वो गलती की. We are all very adept at that, pointing mistakes of others. जैसे मैंने कहा, ये है system. एक वहाँ, तीन यहाँ. According to each one of us, we are perfect. You have to be like us. ये सब को छोड़ देते हैं, रहने देते हैं कहीं. All these are baggage, When we go on a holiday, we carry light baggage. जिंदगी की यात्रा में ऐसे heavy baggages लेके निकल पड़े हैं. तो कहाँ की खुशी, कहाँ की शांति? It will be a stressful life. We have so many expectations from people. So count blessings. Again, at the end of the day, write it down. What were the take homes? Third day, have faith. There is nothing called impossible. I am possible. Have that mindset. Fourth day, do not respond to the situations as per the upper niche of the situation, but respond to every situation as per your carefully chosen values. Pritima ji just gave us a thumbs up, an inspirational pointer that she has already picked up 5 values, for example, or 10 values.
14 values, I think.
14 values. Great. Wow. Applause. So on that particular day, Pratima ji will lead her life as per those 14 values, not as per the situation. One example, Delhi NCR में आजकल नहीं physical setting में what is the most important excuse भी नहीं reason, क्योंकि वो सही और सच बात है. What is the most important reason for coming late? Traffic jam में फंस गया ना sir. Reactive. यहाँ पे environmental pressure क्या था? Traffic jam. आप उसमें फंस गए तो you became reactive, you came late. Reactive. A proactive person जिसका एक value punctuality है, उसको पता होगा कि दिल्ली एनसीआर में ट्रैफिक जैम है, आधे घंटे 1 घंटे पहले निकल गया होगा, again reaching on time or before time, proactive. This is what I mean. If we believe in good quality of work, that is what we are going to be committed to, not things around us. Boss ठीक नहीं है, colleague ठीक नहीं है, AC काम नहीं कर रहा, reactive. So live like that. So like that, for example, create thoughts on that 4th day. Choose to be happy, चाहे जो भी surrounding. Ego to self-respect. अहंकार से आत्मसम्मान की यात्रा. Give respect to others. आत्मसम्मान से it will automatically translate respecting others. Listen to the deep communication of a human soul. Create emotional bank account. Nishkama karma. That particular day, come what may, you're going to give your best, even in a 2-minute interaction with your family members or having your food. हर वक्त आप अपना बेस्ट देंगे या बोलेंगे. तेज रफ्तार की जिंदगी से शांतिपूर्वक जिंदगी. Pace to peace. Every problem on day number 10 or whatever, you will be converting them to opportunities. Next day, what's in it for me? सवाल नहीं होगा. सवाल ये होगा, how can I contribute? How can I serve? Did it make you better? Feel better? Happier? Write it down. Equanimity, balance, samatvam, remain stable. Experience and express vibrations, energy of love, peace, and happiness. Day 14, 15. Next day, serve, seva. Agar lockdown tab tak khul gaya, even a simple act of giving your seat to a senior citizen in a metro, it will make you and him or her happy. See, you will, if you just take a flashback, हम सब realize करेंगे. जब भी हम गुस्सा करते हैं, if we lose our temper, चिड़चिड़ा होते हैं, argue करते हैं, कुछ देर बाद कैसा लगता है? There is a sense of regret. Why did we do this? Because गुस्सा, jealousy, worry, fear, everything, they are not our true natural sanskars. They are acquired values. जिंदगी से हमने सीख लिया. लेकिन जब भी हम खुश होते हैं, हंसते हैं, दूसरों को माफ करते हैं, अपने आप को भी माफ करते हैं, we are kind, tolerant, we show love, peace, happiness. We want to remain in that state because these are our original sanskars. So that's what will happen on that day. Seva. Soul consciousness in action and intention. The last but one day, रोज सवेरे 15-20 मिनट का meditation से आप शुरू कीजिए. Not with news and TV channels and newspapers. They are full of horror stories. So let us begin our day with a 15-20 minute meditation. Choose your convenient process of meditation. Essentially, it is like एक खराब इन्वर्टर बैटरी को हम चार्ज करते हैं पावर सोर्स को कनेक्ट करके. This soul battery is weak and discharged. We are connecting it to the super power source, Paramatma. That is meditation. Being aware of our true self. तो वो करेंगे, लेकिन हर 1 घंटे के बाद अलार्म सेट कीजिए वॉच में या मोबाइल में. Give a 1-minute break after every 1 hour of work. Okay, what am I thinking? उसका कोट, why is he wearing blue color? इसके घर में सांबार बना, इडली बना. मेरा क्या जाता? Why are we so much of wasteful and critical thoughts? उसके shoes ठीक नहीं है, उसका कपड़ा ठीक नहीं है. Be aware of that. Throw them out. You will realize that your output is enhancing manifold because of these worthless, critical, and negative thoughts. are being thrown away because now there is Sakshi Bhava. You are aware. You've come out of yourself and you're seeing it. 1 minute break. And finally, be free from anger, irritation, frustration, grudges, revenge. Believe in Santosh, contentment. So this is my 20-point program and the concept of spiritual diary.
Thank you so much. So we have 10 more minutes. So one more question. This is from Mr. Yashwant Chauhan. He's part of the managing committee in the chapter. So he's asking, what according to you are the 3 top factors responsible for achieving success and happiness? The top 3 factors.
Top 3. All right. Let me come to success first. Top 3: Santosh, contentment, happiness. Santosh, contentment, satisfaction. Khushi, happiness. The third, giving our best at every point of time. 3. The 3 top points for what was
Happiness.
happiness? Okay. The first, not necessarily in the same order. First, seva, serve. Second, accept people and situations as they are. Don't expect. Expect there is misery. Accept there is peace. And the third, your values, your speech and action. Let there be conformance. Let there be absolute consistency in what you are, what you speak, and what you do. I would say these are the 3 essential things. If I'm allowed to give a 4th, probably I'll put it in the top of the list. Be grateful. Count your blessings. The first, as I said, first blessing, ludak nahi gaye hain, zinda hai. That there is still life energy. As long as there's life, there are profound possibilities every single moment. Every moment is a celebration.
Right. Okay, so I think these were the questions which were on the chat box. And there are many lovely comments. I think we'll compile them and we'll send them to you, right?
Sure.
And
thank you once again.
Before we wind up, and I request Mr. D.V. Shastri to, give a formal vote of thanks. Anybody else wants to say something? Any comment anybody wants to make? You can unmute yourself.
Pratima, it has been a wonderful session. Wonderful.
Thank you so
Dr.
much.
Raman, it is a very, very excellent session you have conducted.
Thank you, Davasa. Means a lot. Thank you very much.
Very
Dr.
useful.
Raman,
Very introspecting.
Thank you very
Simply
much.
Dr.
wonderful.
Raman, thank you so
So
much.
nice.
Very enlightening. Thank you so much, Dr. Raman. Very grateful.
Okay.
Beautiful
Thanks a
talk.
lot. Thank you, Ashok ji, Deshpande sir. Thank you.
Okay, so over to you, Mr. Shastri.
Hello.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
You would like to say something?
Yes, madam. May I ask a question from Dr. Raman?
Okay. Okay. Please go
Dr.
ahead.
Hearing me?
Yes, please. Yes, please carry on, Colonel Lamba.
Yes, sir. I wish to know that why do we want to be remembered, sir?
That's a very good question. In fact, it's a very nice question. Let me applaud you on that. There are only 2 options with us. Either we want to be remembered or we don't want to be remembered. So, jaise Colonel Saab keh rahe hain, if we don't want to be remembered, that's it. Do lead whatever life, simple life. That's nothing for me to say. But if you want to be remembered, in case somebody wants to be remembered, the prescription was for them. Very good question, sir. Thank you.
When we want to be remembered, don't you think it causes stress, sir?
Oh, okay, that way. Well, that is also, you're right. In a way it can cause stress. In a way it need not, because, if we want to be remembered in a certain way, because, things as far as we are concerned will fall in place. Because if that is the ending, I want to be remembered as a kind-hearted person. So, merely operational, practical, day-to-day things will be, I'm going to be kind to people because I want to be like that. In a way, I would hope, क्योंकि ना पैसा ना प्रॉपर्टी कुछ भी लेके नहीं जाएंगे, खाली हाथ आए हैं, खाली हाथ जाएंगे. So people are going to be remembering me that way. I will be grateful. So if people want to be remembered in a certain way, my point was just make sure you're living life that way. Everything should fall in place. You cannot live life in whatever way you want. and yet hope that people will remember you in great, noble, lofty ways. अगर जैसे भी जिंदगी जीनी है, फिर आपका point valid है. Don't expect people to remember. That's a simple way.
Third, sir, I would like to thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Was that, are you happy? Then he says, I have no idea.
I have
Thank
no
you
idea.
so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Isn't that the secret of life? Why should we be happy for any reason? Today we are happy because our spouse is doing something which suited us. Tomorrow she will or he will do something else. We will not be happy. Day after, our children will do something जो हमारे expectation के खिलाफ है. Again, we are not happy. But the other day, Pritima ji will say, आपके लिए कोई workshop नहीं है. I will not be happy. Why should we base happiness on all these things? Let the beginning point be, जो भी हो जिंदा तो हूँ, I am happy. तो उससे the right energies will flow.
Thank you so much, sir. Very, very.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So now,
Okay, so
Great
on
session,
behalf
sir.
of-
Thank you so much. Great.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Colonel Lamba Sahab. Thank you so much. Means a lot.
so I would
on
now-
behalf of ISTD Delhi chapter, I really thank our Dr. C.V. Ramanan for such a wonderful session. And we have been coming across various programs on total quality management, TQM. But this is perhaps for the first time, at least for me, there is a session on total quality person. I think that is the foundation for everything, whether it is personal life or in the context of organization. So Ramanan Sahab, you very beautifully highlighted the importance of humility, the compassion or karuna, spirituality, importance of spirituality in life, the importance of values like trust, empathy, and respect, and more importantly, the importance of giving. You know, once I was listening to a very good speaker. He asked the audience why, deities or devatas are called devata. And he gave a very beautiful answer that if somebody believes on giving, जो देता है वो देवता है. तो बोले जो देवता से सब मांगते हैं. So that is the power of giving.
Great.
And you also very, beautifully brought the importance of, integration of head, heart, and soul, the qualities, then the 6 ways to become effective. Then you also talked about leadership and the importance of EQ. And I really appreciate that you said that EQ and IQ originate from SQ. So SQ is the foundation of any good thing. So that's very nice. And you also related to the concept of स्थित प्रज्ञता. And again, और ये भी मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि आपने कहा कि भगवत गीता रिटायरमेंट के टाइम पढ़ने की चीज नहीं है. इट्स ए वे ऑफ लाइफ. ये कोई धर्म ग्रंथ नहीं है कि जिसका हम पाठ करेंगे. And that is why वीत राग भय क्रोध स्थित धीर मुनि रुच्यते. That is what Krishna tells Arjuna. And you also touched upon, the occurrence of ups and downs in life. So again, Krishna says, Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkha, etc. So it was a really, beautiful correlation and integration of Indian values into the aspects of self-management and the organizational management as well. और आपने आज अच्छी किताब भी हमको बताई, Acres of Diamond. मैंने तो पढ़ी नहीं, but I will definitely get one and read it. And finally, you also very in a simple manner you said that above all, satisfaction or santosh, that is the ultimate thing which can bring us happiness. हमारे यहाँ कहा है ना कि जब आवे संतोष धन सब धन धूरी समान. So that is the essence of happiness. So thank you very much. आपके हम आपको जब भी invite करेंगे, you will kindly oblige us. So I again thank you very much, along with the august audience. namely Dr. R.S. Dubas, Dr. G.P. Rao joined us, Ashok Deshpande ji joined us from Nasik, Dr. Rakesh Mudgal, Mr. Y.N. Kaushal, Dr. Mamta Mahapatra, Arpita Ganguly, Ajay Shukla, Professor Jaiprakash Bagde, Krupakar Vasnik ji, Colonel J.S. Lamba, Colonel Ashok Ghoshal, Mr. Dattatreya Yevle, Dr. Purnima Madan, and incidentally and interestingly, we had one Mr. Advait Srivastava also. You brought so many things from Advait Vedanta into your session. So we have Advait personified in the form of Mr. Advait Srivastava. So on behalf of the managing committee of ISTD Delhi chapter, led by Mr. Mukesh Jain and supported by our secretary, Mr. Ajay Sahu, Madam Sucharita, Mr. Yashwant, Pritimaji, and all the office bearers of Delhi chapter, I express my sincere gratitude and thanks for sparing your valuable time and enlightening us on this wonderful topic of total quality person. Thank you so much. Thank the speaker and thanks all the people from audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much once again. Thank you, Shastri.
Thank you, Shastri Saab. Thank you, Prathama ji. Thank you, Alok. Thank you, Arun.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Professor C.V. Ramanan.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ramanan. Dr. Ramanan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. It's always a pleasure to have you with us.
Always a pleasure to listen to you.
Thank you very much, Manoj, for joining from Dubai. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone.